you guys helped us a ton in ways that weren't insurance. And what it was being able to have a conversation with people who obviously do things well and asking questions about best practices and getting guidance on that.
Welcome back to the Lightwell podcast. So far on this podcast, we've shared a lot about insurance for ministries and organizations that lift up their communities. And today, we get to talk to one such organization. We're going to be speaking with Brian McDonnell from Wears Valley Ranch in East Tennessee. And he's going to share with us not just the insurance part of what his role means, but also the beautiful work that Wears Valley Ranch is doing in Tennessee to lift up kids who are coming from hard places. It's an amazing conversation, and I hope you enjoy hearing from Brian McDonnell. It is my pleasure to be joined by Brian McDonnell, the Chief Operating Officer from Wears Valley Ranch in Tennessee, in the beautiful Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, my pleasure, Adam. Thank you.
And I want to ask you, what does it mean to be the Chief Operating Officer of Wears Valley Ranch? What's your role there actually do?
Yeah, well, a number of things. Generally speaking, I try to make things run well and fix problems. So I manage the accounting for Wears Valley Ranch, our risk management, some maintenance and construction, and various aspects of the ministry.
Outstanding. And to take a step back from that, for everyone who's listening, what is Wears Valley Ranch? What do you guys do? What's the mission of Wears Valley?
Oh, thank you for asking. So Wears Valley Ranch is a Christian community that's devoted to helping children from difficult family situations. So our main focus is to have a residential home and school for children. These are kids who've been abused or neglected or for whatever reason have a problem at home that's not primarily the child's fault. So they're good kids who have a difficult place that they didn't create. We also have a summer camp program. So Camp Arrowwood is a Christian adventure camp. It's running right now. We'll do 6 weeks of camp in the summer for roughly 450 kids.
I went and looked up Wears Valley Ranch in preparation for getting a chance to talk with you today, and the setting is stunning, and the things that you are doing to encourage and lift these kids up is incredible. So can you tell me about like that setting? How important is it to bring kids into a place that's this beautiful and show them kind of like this good of an experience?
Oh, wow. Well, we want every child who comes here to grasp the truth that God loves them and that He sent Jesus to redeem everyone who trusts in Him. And so, yeah, we are trying to make the gospel, the good news, believable to children who have every reason to doubt that God loves Him. And so, yeah, living in a well maintained home with a set of house parents who function like a family. Being in an environment like this, we're grateful to be on the edge of the Smoky Mountains National Park. Adam, I think you may know this. One of the park trails encroaches on us. They literally hike across the top boundary of our property, which we're really grateful for. It gives us the access that no one else has. So yeah, kids are growing up in literally next door to the most visited national park in the country. And opportunity to ride horses, to hike, to spend time outdoors, and to worship, all those things going on here. So yeah, we're very grateful to get to do this.
I didn't know that about how close you guys actually were to the national park. And that is, I mean, I can only say this from my limited experience in national parks. They are national parks for a reason. They are
Yeah.
unlike any other setting. So to have your residential facility butt up to that is truly incredible. And I love the way you said that, the idea that you're showing in this beautiful, tangible way the love of God to these kids who have evidence and reasons to doubt that. Um,
So
I don't have any other follow-up question on that unless you got more you want to say, but that is a powerful sentiment.
that's great.
So let's talk a little bit about the particulars of what a kid would do when they're at Wears Valley Ranch. What's their experience like? Because as we've talked about on this podcast before, many of the things you do as an outreach, as a program, have an
Mhm.
insurance risk waiting in the wings. And someone like yourself, you have to hold that tension. You want these kids to have a wonderful experience,
Mhm.
but you also have to make sure that they're really well taken care of. So what are the
Right.
things that they do when they're at Wears Valley?
Sure. Well, there are three main aspects to what we do for children and with them when they're here. So there's a residential program where they live on campus as part of a family. We will have 8 children in a home, staffed with 4 staff. We have 2 house parents who are married to each other, 2 college age students who are functioning as mentors or come an internship in that house. So you have fairly large house. Their life is sort of central around there. The school is a tutorial K through 12 accredited high school through ACSI. So we have a school on campus. And then the third is providing counseling to them. So we provide biblical counseling to the kids and to the families that will participate with us. So yeah, there's some liability risk. Obviously the counselor's professional liability, all the things that go with outdoor recreation, having buildings on campus, maintaining vehicles. There's a wide assortment of risk, and if you dig into our loss history, you may know what some of those risks are. So
Well, and I mean, even just to look at the visuals on your website, you see kids getting the chance to do high ropes courses and all these fun activities. And
that's
and
right.
it's important that you're able to do that because that's what makes it such a special experience for them. But you then also have to consider their safety. And I think that's, I mean, I hear you talk about the staff that lives with them in the residential facility. Even the way that's structured is probably a move of risk management too, right?
Well, of course, I mean, you have both the screening of staff, as they're coming in, you have ongoing training of staff and walking alongside them. So, yeah, and as you said, all the other recreation, risk management, there's some definitely staff training elements that go into that. Training supervision is pretty important.
So, I don't know if this is redundant with those other questions, but are there any other kind of specific programs or activities for which you have found that a specific coverage is like, oh, I didn't know that was even offered. I'm so glad that that's out there because that takes care of us in this particular area.
I know there was some fiduciary coverage that was interesting to me. I didn't know that we had. So we have some employment practices liability that covers, and we've not had any claims on that, but I didn't know that existed. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've got a great answer. I think we discussed with Ben, the pros and cons of terrorism coverage, the pros and cons of expanded coverage for sexual acts. A lot of those things we've talked through. Well, I will tell you one surprise, earthquakes. Uh, East Tennessee is not known for having earthquakes. We've had 2 earthquakes this year. So, I should probably be digging into whether or not, I mean, they're relatively low on the Richter
Yeah.
scale. We're not California, but it's something I'd never thought about
Who
before.
knew? That's wild. So let's talk about your relationship with your Lightwell insurance agent. His name is Ben Johnson. I know him very well. He's a legacy, second generation agent there in Tennessee.
Mhm.
His family, his work has been there for so long. And you've worked with him for 15 years. Is that
At
right?
least, yes, that's right.
So you've got this long-standing relationship with Ben. What is it that he does in his relationship with you that shows you that he understands the unique needs of your ministry?
Well, yeah, he's taken a real personal interest in our ministry. Spends time on campus. When we renew our policy every year, he is out here. We meet together and look at those things. His church has been integrally a part of our ministry, which is really neat. So Ben's active at Calvary Chapel in Knoxville, and we've gotten a number of staff from his church. So in that, I think that's pretty special. When Ben's asking me, "Hey, how can I pray for you? What's going on there?" And I tell him, "Well, we need a really good maintenance person." He said, "Well, I know somebody," and so yeah, I think that's not the norm. It's not like I need someone, I'll call my insurance agent, but Ben's a friend and understands our ministry very well and has been a real resource in ways that are beyond just insuring us.
That's fantastic. So you already said that he's a friend. What are the moments along the way when he's coming alongside you? And it starts out as a insurance relationship. He's come to provide a policy, and then it becomes something more than that. So what are those moments along the way where you think this person's more than just a salesman or interested in getting my business? He actually is sincerely concerned with me and what we're doing here at Wars Valley.
Oh, it's great. Well, it's when we have our renewal conversations early on, and he took a personal interest in us. He would ask me, "How can I pray for you?" And then later on, he would ask me, "How is that specific thing going?" So it's clear it didn't just fall off the radar. It's a throwaway line sometimes, but Ben really did care. He really was praying for us in those things. And so, yeah, over time, we developed a friendship. And then he started to challenge me. I mean, he saw that I was a little out of shape and I needed some prodding in that. And so he encouraged me, said, "Yeah, Brian, I'm a triathlete and you should really run a triathlon with me." And I said, "No, I'll never do that." And well, no, actually, we've done two. So we've done two sprint tries, together, really had a great experience. Neither of us drowned. It was really good. So, yeah, I feel like, over 15 years, man, really Ben is one of my best friends, and, don't say that lightly.
Yeah, yeah.
He's really, as you found, just a genuine guy, and really cares about the ministries that he supports.
Well, that is very special about Ben. He's a really uniquely good-hearted person in similar ways. So he's followed up with me when, he's asked me, "Hey, how's your wife's back doing?" And months later, he'll be like, "I've been praying for that." And that is really cool. The feeling that it hasn't just been lost on him, and I wouldn't think it was bad if it was, but he follows up and he really cares. And right now, he is after me to come down to Knoxville and do a triathlon in
See there
August.
okay,
So
see, there you go. We're on the
this
same
is
page.
this is a pattern he's working. He must have seen that I'm a little out of shape as well.
He cares
Um,
deeply about you, I really.
he does. He wants me to live a long life for sure. So okay, how has your coverage through your insurance plan or Ben as your agent shown up at a time where you really need it? So, have you walked through a difficult time at Wares Valley where your insurance plan really needed to work?
Yes, definitely. So grateful we haven't had a lot of terrible losses, but a significant one was the Gatlinburg fires in 2016. So in
Right.
November, the fires burned thousands of acres in the national park, and the what made those fires. Now we didn't have a fire at Wares Valley Ranch, but what made those fires so deadly was that we had winds clocking nearly 100 miles an hour, and so high winds are kind of a norm for us. There's some effect of being in the mountains that channels wind, and so the winds can be relatively mild in Knoxville and be very severe out here. So the night of the fires, it tore the roofs off three of our buildings. It leveled a picnic pavilion that we used next to our dining hall. We had some custom made doors on our school building. It tore those doors off and threw them across the road. So there was quite a lot of damage to sift through after that event. And Brotherhood was excellent. Ben was excellent. Just assessing the needs, sending out the adjuster, working with us on reconstructing those facilities and rebuild. So we replaced three roofs. We had to reconstruct this pavilion, and yeah, I won't say it's a great experience. Like I'd love to do it again, but I think. But if I had to do it again, I'd want to do it with Ben and with Brotherhood. It was as smooth as I could have imagined that being.
That's extremely well said. One way I like to phrase that, I don't know if you relate to this, but it sounds like what you were saying is it's kind of the best possible worst case scenario. So it's
Yes,
like, of course, you wouldn't want that to happen,
right.
but if it were to happen, this is the best version of the worst case scenario that you could go through. I
Yes.
like to I like to think of it like this. This is, totally unimportant to our conversation, but it's almost like we're the punter on a football team. It's like your best day is when we don't have to do our job at all.
That's
But
exactly right.
if we have to come in, we'll do it and we'll, send it deep or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah. But when you net 60 yards, it's really good.
that's
You
exactly
get a high
right.
five.
That's
It's
right.
great.
So I'd love to hear, just as an encouragement to anyone who's listening to this, it- could you share maybe a story of what God is up to at Wares Valley Ranch? Like, is there something that, without giving away the particulars of any one child's experience, what does it look like for a kid to come to Wares Valley and experience what you guys have on offer and find themselves lifted up by that?
Yeah, well, one of the things we emphasize with kids is memorizing scripture. So all the kids who come start memorizing in Psalm chapter 1 and memorize large portions. And so it's wonderful to see them reading, embracing God's word, meditating on the thought that the person who meditates on his word is like a tree that's planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. Whatever he does prospers. And so Seeing kids embrace that, especially when they've had no example or sadly even a bad example of a person who professes faith but lives a life that undoes it. It's exciting to see them really come to faith in Christ, to trust Him with everything they have. And so, yeah, one young lady, this is reaching back several years, but came to us as a teenager. She was from she was 15 years old, a nominal Christian home. There was some substance abuse there and some other things that were really disordered. She was a skeptic, and she was on the tougher end of the spectrum of kids that we would accept. It was like, can we work with this young lady? And we did. She graduated from our school. She married a young man who was involved in Young Life. They went on to work in ministry. She then went on to be on staff at a home for developmentally disabled adults in Texas. She worked her way up through the staff of that organization to the point that she was the executive director. She had 200 adults in her care. She had a team of people who were caring for developmentally disabled adults. And she was taking some things as she was working through various ways that they would care for adults. She called our founder and executive director at the time, Jim Wood, and said, we have this problem. And at the ranch, we did this. Would it be okay if I introduced that here? And we said, well, we'd love for you to introduce that there. And so over time, a lot of what was really excited about, it's very exciting to us about what God did with Jonna was that she was both changed by what she experienced here, and then she went on to take those things and change the lives of other people. That's what we really aim for. We will never have a huge footprint and having, hundreds of thousands of kids here at West Valley Ranch. What we do hope for is that those kids who are here are so transformed by the gospel that they will go on to change the lives of other people. And we have a ripple effect that over time affects far more people than we could have done personally.
That's what I'm talking about. That is really beautiful and so powerful and really inspiring. And yeah, the multiplicative impact of that, where you take someone who comes in with need and send them out, not just with their need met, but then with the abundance of love and grace and care that they
Mhm.
have enough to give to other people. That's an
Yes.
incredible, it's incredible testimony to the power of what God is up to through Wares Valley Ranch. And I really appreciate you sharing that story.
Sure. Absolutely.
Jumping back over into the more pragmatic world of insurance for a moment, when if I was a chief operating officer of a comparable ministry, be it a Christian camp or a church even, are there things that you would advise someone in that role to do to make sure that they're getting the right partner or the right coverage for their ministry? Are there questions that you've asked along the way that you're glad that you asked? Things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's a great question. I'm not sure how qualified I am to answer it because we've had a great partner for 15 years. I do have some unfragged conversations with folks because there are other people who want to quote our insurance. So I do get from time to time an invitation. Yeah, I'd want to know about the financial solvency of the company itself. Brotherhood is a well-managed company. They manage their risk well. It's part of our conversations with Ben, but just what's the reserve ratio for Brotherhood? How are they able to handle claims? Was this a good year, bad year? What's happening in the industry? Why in the industry? And then what's particularly happening with Brotherhood? How are they affected by what's going on the West Coast or whatever. Do you have a lot of exposure to that or not? I think the stability of premiums is also very important. When people try to sell you policy, they're going to try to undercut the policy that you have. The question is, next year, am I going to see a huge increase or 2 or 3 years after that? I'm very grateful that, and I mean sincerely, Brotherhood has been very stable for us for 15 years. We feel like we've gotten a fair deal from day one and have not been shocked with huge increases. I also think the claims handling is really important. And so the local agent being able to call Ben and get my problems resolved has been really great. He is a one-stop shop for me. Everyone I worked with at Brotherhood is very competent, and often the same people. We have had more than one workers' comp claim over 15 years. I've often worked with the same adjuster. So there's some I think stability there that's very important. So it would be very different if I had one person selling me a policy, and then as soon as they've sold it, I never talk to that person again. Which I understand some companies, that's their model. I'm grateful for us, Brotherhood and Lightwell. It's not our model. We've had long-term relationships that are really beneficial for us, and I hope for Brotherhood and then and Lightwell as well.
I hope so too. I love hearing that, and that is our aim. That is for sure the aim of Lightwell and the company that they take to market, which is Brotherhood Mutual Insurance Company. That is the aim of both of those organizations, to partner in a stable, long-term way and make sure that ministries are protected over the long term in ways that are predictable. And like you said, you're talking to the same person. That's a really good experience. I love hearing that.
Absolutely. I do want to though say very sincerely, none of this is made up. We've had a fantastic relationship with Ben. I've had very good experience with Brotherhood over many years. Unfortunately, we have filed a number of claims over 15 years, and yeah, they've all been handled well. They've all been handled to our satisfaction. Very professional, good communication. Yeah, I'll tell you one other story that was,
Please.
this is unrelated to insurance. It's just related to excellence in general. I had an opportunity to meet some folks from Brotherhood. Ben had arranged, there was an event that we could attend, and met one of the financial gurus at Brotherhood, and in just kicking around, hey, what are you guys doing that's working well for you? The Brotherhood had recently changed their purchasing platform. They'd shifted to Divvy, the Divvy spend expense platform. We shifted to that, and it was a total game changer for us in the way that we handle credit cards and money within our organization. So, a whole lot of our spend now has been transformed by Brotherhood. So, I'm not sure this makes your podcast. I'm just going to tell you, like, man, you guys helped us a ton in ways that weren't insurance. And what it was being able to have a conversation with people who obviously do things well, and asking questions about best practices and getting guidance on that. So,
Oh, I
um,
believe that's very podcast worthy, Brian,
well,
because
I mean, it really happened. It's true. A lot of our spend and yeah,
I think that's a great anecdote and very podcast worthy, because one of the things that Lightwell says about itself is that it's here for the unique needs of ministries, not just bound to an insurance policy, but truly the unique needs of ministries in all kinds of different ways. And it's one thing for Lightwell to say that about themselves. It's a completely different thing, Brian, for you to say, this is true. This happened for me in a way that has nothing to do with my insurance policy. When you say it, it makes it like, oh no, this is a lived experience. It's not just some tagline or slogan or website, thing that we share. I really appreciate you saying that, actually.
yes, yeah, all true.
So, with all of that said, Brian, I just really want to thank you and Where's Valley Ranch for the things that you're doing to lift kids up, to show them love, God's love there in the beautiful hills of Eastern Tennessee, and keep going. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Please keep at it. And we're also, you and I both, thankful for a partner like Ben that comes alongside ministries like yours to keep them going and thriving and protected. So, Brian, I have gone to your website, and there's a really awesome intro video right there on the homepage. But if someone listening wanted to learn more about Where's Valley Ranch, how do they find you?
Thank you. So, Where's Valley Ranch is, again, a home and school for children from difficult situations in Sevierville, Tennessee. We would love to help if you know a child who's in need, or if you just want to find out more about our ministry. Go to our website at WVR, as in Where's Valley Ranch.org.
I really want to just say one more time, thank you for your time today and being on the
Uh,
Lightwell podcast.
yeah, my pleasure. And I hope to see you one day at a triathlon in Knoxville.
Absolutely. Maybe this August if you're there.
Could be, could be. Great. Thank you much.
My thanks once again to Brian McDonnell from Where's Valley Ranch. That conversation really moved me. That was inspiring to hear what Where's Valley Ranch is up to, and also his experience of working with his Lightwell Insurance Advisor there in East Tennessee, Ben. And what I think is interesting is Lightwell Insurance Advisors across the country insures around 32,000 ministries. And this was a conversation today with just one of them. And that blows me away, thinking of that large number and all that God is up to through all of these different ministries across the country. That's a really cool thing. So thank you for joining us today, and share this conversation. If you feel like it would be an encouragement to someone in your world, please share this. This is really exciting stuff that's happening in East Tennessee. So thank you again for joining us today. And until the next episode of the podcast, go and let it shine.